What would your life look like if you stopped waiting for the perfect moment and forced yourself to act now? I'm asking you this because most people don't fail from a lack of desire, they fail from delay. They fail because they keep waiting for clarity, waiting for approval, waiting for motivation. And the truth is, if you wait for the ideal time to make your move, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. Life does not reward the hesitant. It rewards the man who advances even when uncertain, especially when uncertain. The most powerful force in the world is the man who decides, not the man who thinks, not the man who dreams, but the man who decides, then acts without negotiation. Let me tell you something plainly. No one is coming to save you. No opportunity is going to tap you on the shoulder and beg you to take it. If you want success, you must take it, seize it, force it into existence. This universe respects initiative, not intention. The man who moves first, even if he's not fully ready, gains ground. While others are stuck in planning, he's already creating momentum. Every single day you hesitate, someone else is moving. Every single day you doubt, someone else is committing. Every single day you postpone, someone else is progressing. And when you finally decide to move, you'll wonder how they got so far ahead. It's not because they were better. It's not because they had more. It's because they acted relentlessly, forcefully, without apology. You see, success is not a gift, it's a demand. And it must be met with equal intensity. If you approach it casually, you will be ignored. If you show up timid, you will be dismissed. But if you storm the gate with clarity and conviction, the world has no choice but to take notice. Stop romanticizing ease. Stop chasing comfort. That mindset has ruined more men than failure ever could. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Ease is the poison of potential. The road to success is paved in difficulty, and that's exactly what makes it valuable. Because only a few will persist. Only a few will fight. Only a few will refuse to back down. And those few, they build lives the world admires, but rarely understands. So I ask you, are you willing to become one of them? Because to do that, you must kill the habit of hesitation. You must stop flirting with the idea of success and start committing to it like your life depends on it. You must wake up with purpose and go to bed with progress. You must demand more from yourself than the world ever will. Do not misunderstand me. This is not about perfection. This is about persistence. You will stumble. You will fall. You will fail. But the question is, will you get back up faster each time? Will you correct your course without losing your commitment? Will you force yourself to continue even when your emotions scream for comfort? Most people live by how they feel. Winners live by what they've committed to. They do it tired. They do it uncertain. They do it scared. But they do it. They force the habits that create transformation. They install the rituals that generate results. They build the internal structure that supports sustained growth. Success is not something you catch. It is something you cultivate, daily, deliberately, without exception. You don't drift into discipline, you decide into it. You build it one choice at a time until it becomes a part of who you are. Until people look at you and say, he's different, not because of what you have, but because of who you've become. And becoming that person, it requires war, not against others, against your own mediocrity, against your own fear, against your old identity that wants to pull you back every time you try to rise. You will have to wage war on your excuses. You will have to kill the voice that says, I'll start tomorrow, because tomorrow is a lie. Tomorrow is a thief. And if you don't take command today, tomorrow will bury you in regret. There are two paths, and only two, the path of force and the path of failure. Force is not about aggression, it is about resolve. It is the internal declaration that says, I will not stay here. I will not remain this version of myself. I will become what I was designed to be, no matter what it costs. That force, it changes everything. It sharpens your focus. It elevates your standards. It eliminates distractions. It clarifies what matters. And the moment you live by it, the world around you begins to shift. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You cannot attract new outcomes with the same old energy. If you want more, you must become more. If you want different, you must act different. If you want breakthrough, you must break yourself out of the routine that's been suffocating your potential. You can't just want it. You have to require it from yourself. Discipline is not a punishment, it is a declaration. It is the soul's rebellion against mediocrity. It is the spirit rising up and saying, no more passive living, no more average effort, no more waiting for permission. When you live with discipline, everything changes. You no longer need motivation. You no longer depend on others. You no longer look for signs, you become the signal. But you have to start now. Not next year. Not next week. Not when the stars align. Now. Because this moment, this decision, is the hinge upon which your entire life can swing. This is not exaggeration. This is the law of cause and effect. Small choices compound into massive consequences, and if you stack enough of the right ones, something remarkable happens. Doors begin to open, not because they were locked before, but because you were not ready to walk through them. Opportunities do not appear, they are revealed. And they reveal themselves only to those who have built the capacity to carry them. You don't get what you want, you get what you're built to handle. So the work now is not to chase, it's to build. Build your stamina, build your standards, build your consistency. Because once you build the foundation, the fruit takes care of itself. But that building, it takes force. And most won't do it. Most will dabble. Most will delay. Most will die with their potential untouched because they never forced the process long enough to see results. Not you. Not anymore. You've heard the truth. You felt the call. You know what's required. Now go look in the mirror and make the commitment. I will force myself to rise. I will not wait for the perfect plan. I will not depend on perfect timing. I will become a weapon of discipline, forged in adversity, fueled by faith. Say it, declare it, mean it. Because once you do, once you live it, you will start to see what few ever will. That doors don't open by accident. They open to those who refuse to quit. They open to those who push through pain. They open to those who act without guarantees. And they open to those who force success into reality. Not one day, but today, right now. The moment you force yourself to take responsibility for your future, you unlock power that's been waiting in you all along. Most men spend their lives waiting for a savior, someone to recognize their talent, someone to offer them a break, someone to validate their vision. But success never comes to the man who waits. It comes to the one who dares. The one who doesn't ask for permission but gives himself a command. You don't need more time. You need more intensity. You don't need more information. You need more execution. The mind will always find reasons to delay, to doubt, to dilute your desire with fear. But those thoughts are lies. They are illusions. They are shadows sent to test your resolve. And they only grow stronger when you hesitate. You've got to make a habit out of action, a ritual out of movement. You've got to rewire your mind to respond to challenge with courage. And that's not something that happens once. It happens every single day. When the alarm goes off and your body says, stay in bed, force yourself up. When the task feels bigger than your belief, force yourself to begin. When the pressure mounts and the fear creeps in, force yourself to breathe and move forward anyway. This is what separates the average from the exceptional, not talent, not connections, but the decision repeated again and again to act in alignment with your destiny, even when everything in you wants to run. You've heard the term burn the boats. That means removing any option other than forward. That means showing up with no backup plan, no escape route, no exit door. It's you and the mountain. Either you climb or you die at the base. That's the level of commitment that bends reality. That's the intensity that turns invisible dreams into visible results. And that level of intensity is not found, it's forged. You forge it by doing the thing you fear until fear loses its grip. You forge it by repeating the hard thing until it becomes normal. You forge it by silencing every inner excuse with decisive external action. The mind is a powerful servant but a dangerous master. If you do not command it, it will consume you. You must tell your mind what to focus on, or it will wander to weakness. You must feed your mind what you want to feel, or it will fall into famine. You must discipline your mind daily, hourly, until it obeys you, until it becomes your ally instead of your adversary. And make no mistake, this is a spiritual war as much as a mental one. You are not just fighting laziness. You are fighting the dark force of drift, the slow, subtle erosion of ambition. The voice that says, it's okay to take it easy. You've done enough for today, you'll do it tomorrow. That voice is not your friend. That voice is the enemy of everything you want to become. And the only way to destroy it is to drown it out with action. Action is the antidote to fear. Action is the enemy of doubt. Action is the destroyer of procrastination. And when you make action your identity, nothing can stop you. Not failure, not fatigue, not frustration. Now listen to this truth. The world is not open for those who knock once. It opens for those who keep pounding long after they're ignored. It opens for those who stay in motion long after others give up. It opens for the man who has made success not a goal, but a way of life. You've got to be unreasonable in your consistency, ruthless in your execution, unshakable in your beliefs. When the days blur together, when the effort feels invisible, when the reward seems far off, that's when the real test begins. That's when most turn back. But you, if you are willing to force yourself to keep going, will tap into a power most never access. Success does not show up with a smile. It shows up wearing the face of discipline. It shows up dressed in discomfort. It shows up in the form of grind, of grit, of getting back up 100 times without losing faith. And the greatest tragedy is this. Most people never find out how powerful they truly are because they quit before the door opens. They quit right at the edge, right before the shift, right before the light breaks through the darkness. Don't let that be you. Refuse to be the man who almost made it. Refuse to be the man who almost changed. Refuse to be the man who almost lived, because life will only reward you with what you've demanded through discipline. And the door, that mysterious door that leads to the life you dream about, it will only swing open for the man who has proven he's ready to walk through it. You prove it through patience, through sacrifice, through tenacity, through obsession with growth. You force yourself not just to succeed once, but to live as if success is your nature. This means aligning your thoughts, your habits, your energy, and your decisions with your higher self, the version of you that's already won. You don't wait to feel like him. You act like him now. You walk like him now. You speak like him now. Because that is the secret. Behavior comes before blessing. You become the person who has succeeded before you hold the success in your hands. And that identity, it's not built through theory. It's built through fire, through pressure, through pushing when you'd rather pause, through rising when it would be easier to rest. This is how confidence is earned. Not through praise, not through comfort, but through keeping promises to yourself in private. Through showing up again and again when no one is watching, when the reward is invisible, when the only thing pushing you is the man in the mirror who refuses to break. And when you live this way, fully, fiercely, forcefully, life begins to shift in your favor. Not by magic, but by momentum, not by luck, but by law. Because the law of this universe is clear. What you plant, you will harvest. What you repeat, you will become. What you demand from yourself, the world begins to reflect back to you. So stop looking for signs. Stop waiting for permission. Stop playing small. You have everything you need to begin. You have the breath. You have the choice. You have the divine authority to force your life forward. The doors are waiting. Now prove you're the one they've been waiting for. You've stepped into the arena. You felt the resistance. You've heard the voices that say, stop, wait, this is too much. But you're still standing, still breathing, still moving. That means something. That means you're not like the others. That means there's something inside of you that refuses to be average. Something that will not rest until your life reflects your potential. And that, my friend, is where your power begins, not in comfort, not in applause, but in decision, in resolve, in the fierce, uncompromising will to see your vision become real. Now let me speak plainly. You do not attract success by hoping for it. You command success by becoming the kind of person success cannot ignore. You don't whisper your dreams. You declare them, you write them on your heart, you tattoo them into your habits, and you force yourself every single day to rise in alignment with the life you're building. There will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when your mind is foggy, when your energy is low, when the weight of life feels like it's crushing your chest. That is when the average man falls. But the man of power, the man of destiny, the man who has made up his mind, he pushes through anyway. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Not because he's motivated, but because he's moved by purpose. Understand this truth. Success is not an event. It's not a single breakthrough. It's not a one-time moment of glory. It is the result of compounded decisions, compounded discipline, compounded effort. It's who you become when no one is clapping. It's who you choose to be when no one's watching. You do not become powerful by waiting for the right time. You become powerful by creating time, by using what you have, by refusing to let a single day slip away into mediocrity. You use your pain. You use your setbacks. You use your insecurities. And you transform them into fuel. Because you know that on the other side of discipline is freedom. On the other side of sacrifice is abundance. On the other side of forcing yourself forward is a life beyond your wildest dreams. But most people never get there. Why? Because they stop too soon. They think consistency is optional. They think persistence has a limit. They think excellence can be built in comfort. They are wrong. You must be ruthless with your patterns, merciless with your excuses. You must force your habits to reflect your highest standard, not your lowest feelings. That means waking up before the world. That means saying no to distractions. That means guarding your environment like a fortress, because everything around you is either feeding your focus or feeding your failure. Let's talk about influence, not the shallow kind, not likes and views. I'm talking about real, magnetic, spiritual influence, the kind that causes opportunities to gravitate toward you, the kind that makes doors open without knocking. That kind of influence is not given. It's not inherited. It's earned. It's earned through character, through integrity, through inner alignment so deep, so unshakable, that the world cannot help but respond. People can smell energy. They can feel authenticity. They can sense conviction. And when you move through life as a man who knows who he is, what he's after, and who refuses to be moved by anything less than greatness, your aura changes. You don't have to chase, you attract. You don't have to prove. You become. And here's the paradox. It all begins with what you force yourself to do in private. When the world isn't watching, when the reward isn't visible, that's where destiny is formed. You've heard me speak about the cosmic habit force. It is real. It is the invisible force that makes your repeated actions automatic. It's how the subconscious mind locks in on a path and makes it feel inevitable. But it does not respond to wishes. It responds to will, to repetition, to consistency. So I ask you, what are you feeding the force? What habits are you repeating? What identity are you reinforcing every time you hit snooze, skip a task, or delay your calling? Because every small act is a vote for the man you're becoming. You are either casting votes for power or for passivity, for growth or for stagnation, for success or for staying where you are. The man who wins is not the man with the most talent. It's the man with the most control over his thoughts, over his reactions, over his calendar, over his environment, over himself. Control yourself and you control your life. Lose yourself and you forfeit everything. So take the reins back. Reinforce your standards. Command your schedule. Engineer your mindset. And do it not once, but until it becomes part of your nature, until it becomes automatic. Force your focus to stay on your goals. Force your energy into excellence. Force your attention onto the things that matter, because success is not something you feel your way into. It's something you force until the force becomes natural. Eventually, what once felt difficult becomes instinct. The early mornings become your rhythm. The hard conversations become your strength. The discipline becomes your identity. And suddenly people call you lucky. But you know better. You know it was all earned. And here's the reward. Once you force yourself long enough, you stop forcing. Because now success is your normal. Excellence is your baseline. Discipline is your comfort zone. You are no longer trying to succeed. You are simply living out the man you've become. That is the goal. That is the purpose. Not just to win once, not just to prove something, but to step into a version of yourself that makes greatness automatic. A version that moves different, speaks different, thinks different, operates on a level most men only dream of. And when you live there long enough, when you've outworked the doubt, outlasted the fear, outmaneuvered the temptation to quit, the doors start to open. Doors you didn't even knock on, doors you thought were closed, doors you didn't know existed. That's the universe responding to your identity. So remember this. The world does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are. Become the kind of man who forces success into reality, and life will meet you with open gates. You don't need more motivation. You need more movement. You don't need another breakthrough. You need to break through your own limits. You don't need a handout. You need to take command. And when you do, when you push past pain, stretch past fear, and rise in full conviction, you will become unstoppable. That, my friend, is the power of forcing yourself to succeed. Now that you've stepped into this momentum, do not stop. Momentum is the silent partner of success. It cannot be purchased. It must be earned. It is built slowly, brick by brick, decision by decision, until suddenly you are no longer pushing the wheel, it's carrying you forward with a force of its own. But make no mistake, the moment you become casual with your effort, the wheel slows. The moment you begin to coast, believing the work is behind you, you begin to lose what was gained. That is why I teach you now with urgency, success is not a destination, it is a lifestyle. It is a way of thinking, being, acting, and reacting. You don't reach success, you become it. And that becoming requires relentless self-governance, not once, every single day. You force yourself to succeed, not because you're weak, but because you're disciplined. Because your dreams matter more than your feelings. Because you know emotion is fleeting, but results are eternal. Your feelings don't get a vote in your destiny. Only your focus does. Only your standards do. This is the point where the weak shrink back, where most turn around. The pressure builds, the spotlight fades, the grind becomes lonely, and they ask, what's the point? But not you. You've come too far. You've tasted what it means to take command. You've seen what happens when you force yourself to stay locked in. And you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that consistency is your superpower. So now, go deeper. Raise your standards again. Increase your output. Tighten your systems. Because the universe only gives overflow to those who prove they can steward excellence. Force yourself to track your time, to know where every hour goes. Because wasted hours become wasted years. And wasted years breed regret. Force yourself to prepare with intensity, to plan each day the night before. Because clarity beats chaos, and order beats stress. Force yourself to move quickly. Success doesn't wait for perfection. Speed matters, momentum matters, boldness matters. Force yourself to protect your energy. Your thoughts are sacred. Your focus is fuel. If they drain it, remove them. If it distracts you, delete it. If it weakens your spirit, walk away. And above all, force yourself to stay faithful to the vision you once believed in, even when it hurts, even when it's hard, even when no one else understands it. Because this vision was given to you, and your obedience to it will become the very thing that transforms your entire life. I have said it before, and I will say it again. No one can stop the man who refuses to quit. No setback, no delay, no rejection. Because this man has decided that success is not optional, it's inevitable. And that decision makes him dangerous. Dangerous to doubt, dangerous to limitation, dangerous to anything that once held him back. That is who you are becoming. Now, let's go even further. Let's talk about emotional discipline. You cannot afford to be ruled by frustration, by mood swings, by the ups and downs of temporary circumstances. You must become steady, stoic, calm in chaos, unmoved by noise. You force your emotions to serve your mission, not sabotage it. When disappointment hits, you reframe it. When fear rises, you confront it. When anxiety whispers, "You're not enough," you shout back with clarity, "Watch me." You do not retreat. You rise. This is mastery. And mastery is not magic. It is a decision made daily until it becomes who you are. You master your thoughts. You master your movement. You master your money. You master your mornings. And as you take control, the world around you starts to shift. People notice. Opportunities appear. Influence expands. And success, real success, the kind that lasts, becomes your new standard. But only because you stayed long enough. Only because you endured. Only because you trained your mind to believe what others doubted. Because you forced yourself to stay committed when most would have bowed out. You see, the doors don't just open for those who are talented. They open for those who are trustworthy. And trust is built in the dark, in silence, in effort no one sees. Every repetition mattered. Every sacrifice echoed. Every silent battle added weight to your name. So now when the doors open, walk through them with humility, but also with authority. You were not here by accident. You were forged for this. You were tested, proven, strengthened by fire, refined by time. And no man, no opinion, no failure can take that away. And this is just the beginning. Because once you understand that the greatest success is not in the result, but in who you become in the process, you become free. Free from the need for approval. Free from the prison of procrastination. Free from the chains of comparison. You no longer measure your worth by how fast you get there, but by how fully you show up each day. And the man who shows up fully cannot be stopped. So force yourself to show up. Force yourself to stay longer. Force yourself to give more. Force yourself to lead, to grow, to break old patterns and plant new ones. And keep going until this version of you, the one who pushes through resistance, who honors his word, who walks with certainty, becomes permanent. Until the force you use becomes the flow you live in. Until you are no longer trying to succeed, you simply are success. Now let me leave you with this. You have no idea how many doors are waiting to open for you. No idea how many blessings are standing just beyond your current level of commitment. No idea how many lives you are meant to touch, how much greatness you are meant to embody, how far you are meant to rise. But none of that matters if you stop now. None of that matters if you give in to distraction. None of that matters if you settle for potential instead of pursuing the price. So I charge you one last time, force yourself to succeed. Not someday, now. Not when it's easy, especially when it's not. Not for applause, but for alignment, because when you do, the doors won't just open, they'll swing wide, begging you to walk through, and you will, with fire in your eyes, with strength in your spirit, with excellence in your walk, because you didn't wait, you didn't wish, you didn't hope, you decided, you acted, you endured, and now you rise. That, my friend, is how doors open, and that is how success becomes yours.